breaking Coco Gauff's shocking remarks. Ignite worldwide fury among LGBT athletes. It began with a few words, unscripted, spontaneous, and charged with raw emotion. Coco Gauff, the 21-year-old American tennis sensation who had spent her life balancing fame and humility, stood before a crowd of journalists. After a tense semi-final match at the Shanghai Open, her voice trembled slightly, the fatigue of competition visible on her face. Yet her tone was steady, defiant, almost electric, when asked about inclusivity in sports and the recent surge of openly LGBT players. On tour, Gauff paused, cameras zoomed in. The world held its breath. "I think everyone deserves respect," she said, carefully. But sometimes the focus shifts too far from the sport itself. Tennis should be about performance, not personal identity. In that instant, silence fell across the press room. A murmur followed, soft at first, then growing into an online storm that would sweep across continents within hours. What Gauff thought was a balanced statement, a plea to keep the game about tennis, was instantly interpreted as a dismissal of LGBT visibility. Her words, clipped into headlines, replayed in edited videos, and taken out of context, ignited fury. The backlash within minutes. Twitter, now X, was ablaze. Hashtags like Coco ankled, hashtag equality over tennis, and hashtag Weplay2 began trending globally. LGBT athletes, journalists, and fans flooded timelines with disappointment and outrage. Daria Kasakina, an openly gay Russian player, posted, "We don't talk about identity to distract from tennis. We talk about it because it is part of who we are. Silence helps no one." Retired legend Billie Jean King, a lifelong quality advocate, shared her own message. Calm, but cutting. Respecting everyone means understanding that identity and sport coexist, always have, always will. The storm was relentless. Interviews from Gauff's past resurfaced. Her 2023 statement, "Everyone should love who they love," was reposted by her defenders as proof of her good heart. But to her critics, her latest remark felt like betrayal. The divide inside the WDA locker rooms, tension was thick. Some players sympathized with Gauff, insisting that the media twisted her, meaning others distanced themselves, posting cryptic Instagram stories about true allies and performative support. The following morning, ESPN aired a heated panel discussion. Former pros debated whether Gauff's words reflected ignorance or a generational struggle with political correctness. "She's young," said one analyst. "She's trying to navigate fame and social justice at the same time. You can't expect perfection, but words matter." Another counted sharply. "When you're the face of women's tennis, every word has weight." Meanwhile, brands at once celebrated her, began holding emergency meetings. Nike's marketing department reportedly paused a new campaign centered on unity through sport. Social media analysts watched sentiment metrics plummet in real time. The world wasn't just debating what Coco said. It was debating who she was, the human behind the headlines. That night, Coco Gauff sat alone in her hotel room in Shanghai. Her phone buzzed endlessly. Mentions, messages, threats, apologies, advice from PR managers. Her coach knocked softly on the door, asking if she wanted to go over match strategy for tomorrow's final. She didn't respond. On the table lay a half-written apology draft. Her hands trembled as she read it aloud. "I want to clarify my words. I respect the LGBT community deeply." She stopped. It sounded mechanical, lifeless. It didn't feel like her. The truth was Coco never meant harm. Her entire life had been about fairness and equality. She'd grown up admiring Serena Williams and Venus, not just her power, but for their courage. She'd marched in protest, donated to causes, and spoken about racial justice. But this was different. She wasn't fighting against something. She was being accused of it. Her tears came not from guilt, but from exhaustion. Why does everything I say get twisted? She whispered into the empty room, the press conference of redemption. 2 days later, after losing the final in straight sets, Coco faced the press again. The room buzzed with anticipation. Would she apologize, defend herself, break down? She took a deep breath, her voice calm yet piercing. I've had a lot of time to think. I realize that my words hurt people, and for that, I'm deeply sorry. My intention was never to silence or discredit anyone. I grew up believing that everyone deserves a place in the sport, no matter who they are or who they love. What I meant was that tennis should bring us together, not divide us. But I understand now visibility matters. For so many players, being seen as our full selves isn't distraction. It's liberation. I respect that fully. A hush fell over the room. For the first time in days, the headline softened. Her apology felt raw, unscripted, not written by a PR team, but by a young woman learning under fire. The world reacts. The speech went viral. Clips of her tearful apology flooded TikTok and Instagram. Even her harshest critics began to reconsider. Kasakina reposted the video with a heart emoji. Billie Jean King wrote, "Growth is powerful. Listening is courage." Soon LGBT fans began sharing stories of forgiveness and empathy. We don't cancel people who learn. One viral tweet read, "We educate them." The storm began to calm. Gauff, humble but resolute, started attending inclusivity panels at WDA events. She collaborated with the U Can Play Foundation, donating part of her prize money to support queer youth in sports. Her transformation wasn't for image, it was for understanding. The documentary Moment. Months later, Netflix released a mini-documentary titled Coco Unfiltered. It chronicled her turbulent 2025 season, the highs of victory, the pain of public backlash, and her quiet redemption. One scene, filmed at dawn in Florida, showed her jogging along the beach, narrating softly. When I spoke that day, I thought I was being neutral, but neutrality doesn't heal wounds. I've learned that true equality means standing beside people, even when it's uncomfortable, especially. Then, the documentary became a cultural moment, the quiet sunrise. On a calm morning in 2028, long after the noise had faded, Coco Gauff sat with her journal overlooking the Melbourne skyline. She was older now, more measured. She opened to a blank page and wrote, "The hardest lessons come when the world stops clapping. But that's when you hear your own voice most clearly." Outside, the city stirred to life. Somewhere, young player, perhaps gay, perhaps straight, perhaps neither, watch a highlight reel. Coco Gauff, smiling, and thought, if she can grow, so can I. And that, more than any grand slam trophy, was her greatest victory. Sparkle's epilogue, the meaning of missteps. In the end, Coco's story became more than just a headline about controversy. It became a modern parable, one about communication in a divided world, about empathy in the face of outrage, and about how mistakes can birth understanding if we dare to listen. The fury had faded. The noise had passed, but the lesson remained, echoing quietly across locker rooms and classrooms, hashtags and hearts. Redemption isn't about perfection. It's about choosing love after the world has chosen judgment. And in that, Coco Gauff didn't just return, she transformed. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next,